The other story, of course, we're watching is unfolding in the Western Cape. Alleged underworld kingpin Nafiz Modack failing in his bid to have charges related to the murder of top cop Charl Kinnear dismissed. In fact, that sitting has just wrapped up in court. Vanessa Poonah is our reporter who's been watching developments. And Vanessa, what were some of the reasons that were outlined in the dismissal of this application?
Yes, good day to you. And a short while ago, Judge Robert Henny has dismissed, in essence, the bid by Nafiz Modack, as well as Charl Kinnear, among others, with regards to the murder charge of the late Lieutenant Colonel Charl Kinnear. Of course, the Section 174 application was brought, and you would know that this case has 15 accused facing various charges, something to 124 charges. So not all the accused were charged with the same charges, but of course, just to highlight what exactly this judgment does mean for those accused. Now, I'm bringing in the NPA spokesperson, Eric Ntabazalila. Eric, good day to you. So, of course, I suppose all eyes were on this judgment. Will Nafiz Modack, will Charl Kinnear, still face charges relating to the murder of Lieutenant Colonel Charl Kinnear? And the judgment just now says yes, they will.
Yes, they will. We had the judgment on the 174, exactly as how we planned for it, and we are happy that the outcome was in our favor. We made concessions on 8 of these charges out of 124 because we felt that we could not take the evidence any further, and also it was being fair to the accused as well, so we didn't want to burden the court with the charges knowing that we cannot take them any further. So we are happy and we are ready to start with the trial, get the accused to testify and for us to cross-examine them.
I also note that accused number 2, Charl Kinnear, the former rugby player, the one who has been found to have pinged Colonel Charl Kinnear some 2,000 times up until and even after he was killed in his just outside his Bishop Lavis home. He has not. He has been found, or rather, he's been granted discharge on the attempted murder of the attorney William Booth. Let me just refer to my notes as well, along with charges of conspiracy, money laundering, and fraud. That's correct. So he will still be facing charges in relation to Colonel Kinnear. In
fact, that was one of our concessions, but it's in conspiracy to commit murder of Mr. Booth, but the attempted murder of Mr. Nodier. There are a couple of, about 2 or 3 other charges where we considered against him, including the fraud and others, in which we cannot advance the evidence, where we can link him strongly in terms of the evidence to those charges. But in terms of the other charges, which are the major charges, that is the murder of Mr. Kinnear, the attempted murder of the others, as well as the murder of Jens Skab, those ones he's going to be facing them, and they're going to be called to the stand hopefully by 11:30, and we'll start with the cross-examination later at a later stage.
Just to go back, at the start, Nafiz Modack stood up in court and he tried to address the judge, trying to say something about his Section 174 application. The judge asked him to sit down because he's had the opportunity. What does the state make of this?
We're not sure what he wanted to say about Section 174, but we also saw the similar thing on Friday last week, where he tried to get his lawyer to say something, to add something to their application, of which the lawyer didn't advance that. So we're not sure what he wanted to say, but we don't think there was anything for them to add. Our arguments were strong. We showed that there was a link of them being responsible for all the charges that they were facing. So it was not in the interest of justice for them to be granted the Section 174. So there are cases against them, and they need to answer for those cases. Like I said, we'll be waiting for 11:30, where we are supposed to be starting with them taking the stand and us going on and cross-examining them on the charges that we preferred against them.
Eric, thank you so much for your time. I'll just let you step out of the way there. Of course, Eric Ntabazalila, the spokesperson of the NPA, just giving us an indication that, if we can call it, the main charges, the charges relating to murder, the charges relating to the Prevention of the Organised Crime Act, those will remain. But I'm also joined now by the widow of the former AGU top cop, Lieutenant Colonel Charl Kinnear, of course, Nicolette Kinnear. Good morning to you. I suppose, from your point of view, this Section 174 dismissal of the main charges, which also includes that of your husband, is something that you are relieved by, which means that the accused will not be sort of let off the hook when it comes to the charges facing them.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having me. Yes, absolutely. A relief for us that none, as Eric mentioned previously, there was 8 charges that the state conceded. None of these were pertaining to us, either the assassination, the pinging of my husband, the hand grenade, none of those. So yeah, for us, absolutely a relief. Also realize it's but a hurdle that we've overcome in this marathon that we've been running for the past 4 years. And in terms of relief, I think I've mentioned before, for us as a family today, yes, relief, but halfway, because we know that the accused is not the only ones that needs to be in a dock. We know that I've brought a culpable homicide docket against everyone implicated in the IPID report. So my fight continues to make sure that that culpable homicide docket of SABC members, that they get into a dock as well and in a court. And because ultimately their negligence enabled people to get to my husband, which ultimately led to his assassination. So our fight continues. Only once we have everyone. There's no line here, one above the other. So for me, yes, those accused here, accused 1, Nafiz Modack, Charl Kinnear and everybody else who's accused in our cases, those SABC members who have been mentioned in the IPID report, they might not be in this court, in this dock, but they need to be held accountable and find a court and, yeah, report to book. So that's what we will continue fighting for. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Charl Kinnear, of course, the widow of the slain police top cop, Lieutenant Colonel Charl Kinnear, speaking here during a short adjournment in the Western Cape High Court, where the majority of the charges against accused number 1, Nafiz Modack, and the rest of the 14 accused here in this trial will still go ahead. We know that after the tea adjournment, which is scheduled to start at 11:30, we expect that accused number 2, Charl Kinnear, will take the stand, of course, testifying in his defence.
All right, Vanessa, Poonah, live to us there from the High Court in the Western Cape. For now, thanks very much indeed. We'll see, of course, how the rest of the day's proceedings unfold.